Trusted User in VRChat. And the reason I'm making this video is to both explain how to get to the Trusted User rank, but also if you're somebody who clicked on this and you don't really upload content, you don't make avatars, you don't make worlds, you don't make stuff like that, about roughly what maybe you can expect to hit it within the metric of, so to speak. So for context, I hit Trusted recently, which is why I'm making this, in about 448 hours of doing this, and I was about 110 friends, I want to say. What you could do, one of the secrets you could do, I should say, is look for worlds that are, public instances when you make them, but look for worlds that aren't really visited by a lot of people either. Let's say you have a couple of friends, you want to explore, say, the Community Labs tab. That's a popular one, for example. Do that maybe in a public instance of worlds where you know a lot of people aren't maybe going to join, and then you don't have to worry about crashers and stuff like that. Even if you don't have friends, you can do that just by yourself, as a matter of fact. Looking at, and I'll just use this for a visual so you can kind of see as we go by. When I first started and they implemented this new safety settings, stuff like that, to begin with, I started at new user. At the time, I was at about 40 hours and less than 50 friends as well. But again, every world that I was in and going to at that point in time was either a friends plus world, I was joining off somebody, or it was a public world. And again, I just kind of maybe look for worlds that were interesting to me. Like, think of a franchise that maybe interests you. Like, let's say you grew up on things like, Spyro, Mario, Sonic, Mega Man, etc. Look for those kind of worlds, because there's a lot of those kind of worlds in a game like this that are uploaded, and then go explore those worlds when you see that there's not a lot of people maybe necessarily in them, a lot of instances of those worlds and stuff like that. But I bring up that number because when we go from there to user, when we got to this point, it was only about 100 hours. So only about 60 hours, not a huge amount of increase in the friends as well, to give you some simplicity with numbers and stuff like that, right? Of course, cool. Now the jump from that to known user was about 250 hours and about 50 friends by that point. So almost half of what it took to get to Trusted User, and again, there was really not a lot of anything going on with avatars and worlds and stuff like that. And so what I'm getting towards is to hit Trusted was about 10 times what it was new user. So it will probably take some time, and you can look at whatever, if you remember by any chance what you were when you got to new user, if it was like 40 hours, if it was less than that, if it was more than that, maybe do that about times 10 to get to an idea of what it might take you then to get to Trusted User. That's mainly, again, why I'm making this. It's like, well, again, if you don't feel creative, you don't feel like you have the skills or abilities to do things like the custom avatars and all that stuff people are doing, well, when can you maybe see yourself getting to that realistically, or what numbers specifically could you look at? Some people, they hit like known user in 67 hours, and that might again be because they were uploading a lot of custom avatars. It could just be the people they were hanging out with. They were making a lot of friends pretty fast versus you, who maybe you don't make a lot of friends very fast, and that's your own business. I'm not here to judge or anything like that, but I'm just saying that could be a thing that speculates, or not speculates, but fluctuates between people. Yes, words. But on top of that, basically, you don't have to make Unity worlds, you don't have to make avatars, you don't have to do any of that stuff to be able to get there, and a relatively, I wouldn't say quick, but simple amount of time. If you are someone who's far beyond these numbers and you still haven't hit them yet, one of the things you might need to look at is when you are in VRChat, what kind of worlds you are in, and the friends you're also making as well. I'm not saying there's like a certain quality in the friends, like, oh, this friend is worth more than this friend because they're trusted as well. No, but I also kind of wanted to maybe explain the different angles of why, first of all, they even have it the way they do, why it might vary from person to person. So if you go hit 250 hours and you don't hit known user, why that might be. For example, when I hit that, I was in the virtual market with some friends last year. We were in public instances going around the virtual market. So when virtual markets roll around, which is about twice a year, make sure you go hit those up. Maybe with some friends, again in public. You don't have to do these things too. If you don't want to go it, there is obviously the long route, going it in the slow way, but that means it's going to take longer to hit. And if you're on a time crunch for whatever reason, just keep those things in mind. But I'm going to end the video because now, at this point, it's just going to be going on and on about the same points we've already hit. But if you have or want clarity on something that I didn't clear up, didn't go over in depth, just comment with that in the comment section down below, and there we go. So thank you for watching the video, and we will see you next time. Watch how scuffed this looks. Because the head stays centered. That's hilarious.